Good morning, Southwest Florida. It's another beautiful Sunday morning out there, and I got some sweet secrets that are going to light up your dreams today, folks, because I got Sweet Ginger in studio, and she's going to tell you all about making real, and let me say that again, real Italian gelato. And I'm very fortunate to say that I tasted a little bit before we got in the studio here today, and I still got a little bit stuck on the corners of my lips, and I'm really enjoying it. We had a great weekend last week. All those zombies were out there running around Fort Myers, and I think there's still a couple of those dead souls running around on the back of the parking lot here. We gotta watch out for them. I'm glad that you're here. It's a wonderful day. We got all sorts of great business questions that we're going to be asking Denise, and she prefers to be called Ginger because she is a gorgeous redhead. And if, I know this isn't smell-o-vision, but if you guys could actually get closer to the radio, you might be able to pick up on it. She is a very attractive woman and knows how to make some good ice cream. Thank you very much for coming in the studio.
Thank you, Tom.
Great. So you're originally from the Chicago area,
Correct.
which isn't really known as a mecca for ice cream. How did you get into the whole, the idea of really becoming as you say, an ambassador for Italian gelato?
Well, originally I was a flight attendant and then a former makeup artist, and I have a 17-year-old son that I kind of set the foundation when he was going to school. He ended up going to high school. He's a junior now. But I really decided I wanted to do something after he got into high school, and I was a great party planner, and I thought about becoming an event planner, and really I thought I have to do something completely different. And I loved the food trucks in Chicago, so what I did was I purchased my first Mercedes Sprinter truck and had it upfitted with a complete kitchen on board, and I was going to sell gelato off my truck. And if you can see my truck when it's traveling all over Fort Myers or Naples or Bonita Springs, you'll see a big picture of my face with red hair and my red lips and my pictures of my gelato on the side of the truck.
Hot Lips, I think, is going to be the new moniker, too. I mean, it's a little ginger, but that's Hot Lips, too. That's a Hot Lips mobile.
So I decided to go ahead and purchase my first truck, and I was going to become the sole proprietor and sell gelato off my truck, and met with some business owners, area business owners, and that's how I really started out in Chicago, just in the suburbs. I never had to go into the city because really there was a huge market for it in the suburbs and nobody was doing it.
Sure. Well, I remember as a kid growing up in Evanston, the Good Humor guy used to come around, and you'd hear those bells ringing, and kids would run from blocks around to try to get a chocolate eclair or something. You've taken it to a whole nother level.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Well, and in Chicago in the summertime, people do come out, and there is a lot of history of having street-type vendors, and you'll go down to down by Wabash or downtown, and there's all sorts of different coaches and different food, and it's become quite the gourmet. I mean, they used to be back in the day when I was there down at the Board of Trade. They used to call them roach coaches because that's what they were. But now, boy, with a Mercedes trailer and that thing all painted up, that is one fancy vehicle you got going.
But like I said, I never really had to go into the city. There was so much more in the suburbs for me to do.
Sure.
And local owner-operated businesses are the people that I wanted to co-promote my business with. So that's who I actually ended up going out to meet. And I built up a clientele in the suburbs where I had my schedule for the whole entire week, and people could follow me wherever I was going.
Well, you made a comment to me when we were off air that I really found enlightening, that you like to get to know your people that you like to work with.
Correct.
And that really tells you how you're going to market and how you're going to address their clientele.
Right.
And I thought, boy, that's very insightful. And when I meet business owners that are successful and that have a new, better mousetrap,
Correct.
I like to try to cherry pick the little ideas and share that with our folks at home.
Right.
And that's why it's called Ask an Expert, folks. We got a great expert right here. You can always go to our website at askanexpertfl.com. and you see a picture of Ginger on there, and you might see a picture of me. You can black that one out if you don't want to, but you'll get our past shows. You can download this show. You can share it. We're going to have some other exciting things that are coming up on the website. So askanexpertfl.com. And send in their emails and your questions, and we'll try to get them on air for next week. And anybody has ideas for a great business person or a good guest that is really tickling your fancy right now, I'm more than willing to talk to them and see if they're be appropriate for the air. Ginger, when you came down to Naples about 16 years ago, Naples was a different sort of town than it is now. You've expanded into the Fort Myers area, and I'm proud to announce, we'll announce it on air, that you have a lab, is what you call it. Now tell us a little bit about that.
I just finished building a 3,000 square foot manufacturing plant where I manufacture real Italian gelato on a daily basis. It's fresh, it's made in small batches, and I actually have an Italian chef that trained me in Italy that's over here right now making all my gelato with me. So it's kind of exciting because it is a laboratory, because we do blend flavors. We custom design flavors for area business owners, country clubs, restaurants, chefs, and we can actually make a signature flavor for pretty much anybody.
You were saying the other day somebody had we've had the cigar store guy on the show before, Rich Castillo, and he wanted to have a tobacco flavored ice cream.
It's actually Gabrielle can make a tobacco flavored gelato, but I was more or less kind of pushing that one aside. I thought chocolate would probably, maybe cognac flavored.
Yeah, the Food and Drug Administration might come in there. We might get banned on it. I don't think that'd be too good.
Well, even the Fort Myers Brewing Company is right, my 2 doors down for me. They have a pumpkin ale that's out right now that they actually, they want some gelato for the pumpkin ale, but
Well, and I'm not going to let any secrets go here, but I have been known to belly up to that Fort Myers brewery. They have some great beer over there, and I was saying earlier that between ice cream and beer, I don't think I'd leave that compound.
You don't have to. You definitely don't have to.
They'd have to kick me out of there.
Right, and that's pretty much why I picked the area that I picked, because it really is, it is an up-and-coming area. And it's industrial, which my facility is an industrial, manufacturing plant.
Sure.
And it's in an area that, I think could use a little bit of, production out there, people out there, and people like it. People really enjoy it.
Well, so your idea is you want to partner up with the local clubs and different storefronts, and your business model is to provide them with the best ice cream.
Because I do a lot
gelato.
of the ribbon cutting ceremonies for Naples, Bonita Springs, and now I'll be doing them for Fort Myers as well, where I actually go in and serve complimentary gelato at other people's ribbon cutting ceremonies, just to sort of welcoming them into the area the same way I would like to be welcomed.
Sure.
So it's just, I go in there a couple of days in advance, I introduce myself, I give them a sample of my product, and I say, I would love to serve gelato at your ribbon cutting ceremony. And 9 times out of 10, most of the business owners are very happy that I actually came in, and they look forward to it.
I don't know too many people that don't like ice cream, folks. And if you like ice cream, and this is calling this ice cream is kind of like calling a Ferrari.
Exactly.
This is a whole different avenue, and it was so rich and creamy. Tell me, I think this is a perfect time to get into it. What is the difference between gelato and regular, American
industrial ice cream?
Industrial
Italian ice cream.
Okay.
Most of the stuff that we have here in the United States that people call gelato is really industrial ice cream, because real Italian gelato has to be made in small batches. There's less air in it, there's less fat, and it's served at a warmer temperature. So you can't possibly freeze gelato and have it taste the same as you want it to taste. It has to be made every day fresh, and it's made with fresh ingredients. So, the stuff that we have here in the United States is industrial. It's industrial gelato. It's not real Italian gelato. So you even know for yourself by tasting it today that you could really taste the creaminess of the product, how soft and smooth.
Absolutely, I'm a believer,
the flavors
folks.
really come out.
Sign me up.
You have to be able to taste those flavors, and like I said, all my ingredients come from Italy. All my machines come from Italy. I use everything other than fresh ingredients are from Italy, but I use fresh dairy. I use fresh fresh ingredients that are delicious.
Well, I guess that's a good time to talk about that. You traveled over, so once you got the idea that you really wanted to dive into this, all the way, you actually took a trip over, and you hadn't been out of the country prior to this.
That was my first, and being a former flight attendant, you would think I would have taken advantage of the travel benefits, but I had never gone out of the country other than Cancun, Mexico. So I decided that I was going to go over to Italy after a friend had approached me and said that had I ever tried or been to Italy to try it. So I booked a trip and went over there and tasted as much gelato as I possibly could, and really it tastes completely different than what we have here in the United States.
Yeah.
So I came back, and the first time I went out there, I actually met the founder of Frigomat, which is my supplier of my machines, and went to the Gelato Museum out there and the university out there, and toured all over.
And you got certified as a gelato specialist.
Yes,
I mean,
there is a science to it. Blending the flavors, balancing the sugars, even the ingredients. You have to be able to do that in order for it to taste good.
Well, I'm sure that the chemistry that happens when you meld the different flavors, it can turn it acid or it can turn it bitter.
Right,
I'm sure there's all sorts of things
definitely.
that can go awry.
Right. And you have to have a good palate for it. So if you don't think a flavor is going to go with another ingredient, or another ingredient with another ingredient, then it's not going to work. But Gabrielle, my master chef here, has really blended the flavors wonderfully. Yeah. And
when he actually is going to pass down some of this expertise to you,
he trained me, and he actually trained me in Italy. I went over there and trained with him in the kitchen. And I actually did it one-on-one because, I thought it was really important. His knowledge and just his expertise in making gelato really is what has made me the gelato chef that I am. So.
And folks, I'm here to tell you, she's quite the gelato chef. I had the whole.
What flavor did you have today?
I went for a little bit of both. I tried the tiramisu because my daughter always likes tiramisu. And let me just say this: she's a ginger also.
Okay.
My daughter Courtney has red hair.
We're very rare.
You guys are rare,
We are rare.
and to be treated as icons, I think.
We're stubborn, but
I think it's the upbringing. Everybody wants to touch the red hair.
Right.
But so you went and learned all of the ice cream techniques, and then you brought a couple of other gals, the redheads, to actually be in the truck, going on the theme.
Right.
Sweet Gingers.
I have two.
Look for the trucks.
I have two mobile units that operate all over Bonita Springs, Fort Myers, in Naples, and other surrounding cities. They'll be fully equipped with gelato and 2 gingers on board. We do private events. We also do corporate parties, and we do sporting events. And we're going to be all over, so you have to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to find out exactly where we'll be at. And then, of course, the business owners. Sometimes, like I said, when I co-promote with area business owners, I will go and sell gelato to their customers for an hour or two during the week.
And I'm sure there's a website. Do we
Sweet
have?
Gingers Gelato, yes.
SweetGingersGelato.com?
Yeah.
There you go. And we'll link it up to our website, so you can always link in. But that's a pretty easy name to remember.
Yes.
Sweet Gingers Gelato. And folks, if you haven't had a really tasty dessert like this, it's creamy, and I didn't realize it was less fat though.
So there's less fat, less air, and so a lot of people that do come up to the truck or they taste the gelato, they're like, oh, I have to watch my weight. And people in Italy eat it on a daily basis because of the natural ingredients, and it really does. I mean, it has, if you're putting the fresh fruits in there, it's got nutrition to it too.
Sure.
It's got the dairy in there. So there is nutrition in gelato.
Don't tell my kids. They're going to start telling me it's a nutrition snack. I don't know.
Well, and like I said, it's all natural, so you can eat it on a daily basis, and you're not going to I just shouldn't say you're not going to gain any
Well,
weight.
I can
because
say
you
it
get
hasn't
enough
put
of
any, it hasn't put any pounds on you. You're
No,
doing pretty good.
And I taste it all the time, so.
And I see, and looking at your bio here, that you visited Bologna in Italy, and they have a gelato museum.
Yes, they do. And it tells you about the whole history of the gelato going back all the way to the Roman times. And went to the university over there as well. And Bologna is a very beautiful city. It's a very young city. So it's got one of the largest universities in the city of Bologna.
Uh-huh.
And I would just stay right in the square. And every morning I would get up and my window would be open and you could just see all the people walking. And it is a beautiful city. So I always encourage people to go to Bologna.
So when my daughter just came back, well, a little while ago from Italy, and she talked about gelato and how much more delicious it was over in Italy, and how they exercise and walk so much that they really didn't.
Yes,
put
I actually
on.
lost 5 pounds the first time I went, so people couldn't believe it. But really, because everybody walks there too. But like I said, it's okay to eat it every day.
Well, there's nothing wrong with eat little bits of everything as long as you exercise.
Everything in moderation.
There you go. A little bit of chocolate coming down the side of my mouth.
Oh,
that was
well.
the other flavor too. Oh, I should talk about that. You gave me. I had the tiramisu because that's what my daughter likes, and then I had the dairy-free chocolate, dark chocolate.
Yes, the dark chocolate.
Boy,
that's
that was. I have never
Yes.
tasted anything like that.
Yes,
Why don't you tell us about that?
I can pretty much do anything, Tom. Make any flavor. Like I said, a lot of people are lactose intolerant or they can't have the dairy products. So I get a lot of people that ask me for chocolate flavored, and really, you think about it. You can't even think that something that people are, maybe they can't eat it, something like that is really a hot item here in the United States.
And so how do you get it as creamy as it is without the dairy?
Without
giving away the trade
Well,
secrets.
of course, it's just the way you blend
'Cause I don't wanna get shot here
the
at the end of
flavors
the-
and the liquids and the sugars. And the way you blend them, and then you put them into the batch freezer, and it comes out looking like a beautiful piece of artwork.
It sure
Yeah.
was artwork. I've never tasted anything like it. You gave me a good description of it, and you say it's almost like cold frosting that's
spread like cake frosting, because it
just
is.
like
It's
cake
served with a spatula.
Uh-huh.
And when you do, you'll never see it. I'll never serve my gelato with an
Scooper?
ice cream scoop. Because you can't. It's just, there's an art form to even putting it in the cup. Most of the time people will ask for one flavor. Sometimes, we encourage people to take 3 flavors or even try a little bit of all the flavors that I have. Like today I had cinnamon, I had tiramisu, I had hazelnut, and I had vanilla and sour cherry today in the dark chocolate.
Uh-huh.
So, and
I might have to go chase that truck back down. I think I'm 14 again. I think I'm looking for that ice cream truck now.
Right. But right now I'm doing an event for the Von Liebig Arts Center on Friday night. They're opening, their grand opening, and we're going to custom design a Neapolitan gelato for them. It'll be the colors of the Italian flag. It'll be pistachio, cherry, and vanilla.
I love pistachio.
So,
pistachio ice cream, the green
Yes.
stuff is fantastic, and I'm sure yours has got to be fantastic.
And Naples and Italian is Neapolitan. So
So you're in the right town.
Yes,
That's for
exactly.
sure. Well, talk to me a little bit, because I was originally from Philadelphia, and University of Pennsylvania has an ice cream,
Okay.
their own little school there. And I thought that ice cream really kind of started in colonial times and
all the way back to the Roman times.
Yeah, I was
back to the
amazed
Roman
when you
times. They
said
used to
that.
use, like,
Tell me, how did they?
the ice and the salts and stuff like that from the mountains, and then they would just add the sugars to it. So that's kind of where it started from back, and that's what I learned from the museum. And they actually have the old machines that some of these gelato chefs would work with, and they're big barrels that the ice would sit in there, and that's how they would actually serve it. So.
Well, I mean, I never ceases to amaze me. Every Sunday I learn something new. I just am always happy to have guests like yourself on here.
Thank you.
Give me a little bit of education, because
Yes.
it
Yes.
just makes my day a little bit richer to know that we've gotten a lot of great things from Italy and Rome.
Right,
But
exactly.
I didn't realize we got ice cream
Yeah,
from there.
definitely.
That's what they say. That really that was the first.
It's amore.
It's amore. Well, you're listening to Ask an Expert. I got Sweet Ginger in studio. If you see her truck, go to the website. Believe me, you want to lay down in front of that truck and get the kids.
I have 2 of them, Tom. Don't forget that.
And make sure that you try some of this ice cream. I think that you're going to be amazed at the results, and you know, your story is so good too. I mean, you know, to have the wherewithal as a mom, and then wanting to start a business, and you didn't do this in a small fashion. I mean,
No, I didn't do it in a small fashion. I did it in it didn't happen over a long period of time either. Like I said, I started out as a sole proprietor in Chicago with 1 truck. And up until right now, it's been less than 2 years, and I now have 2 trucks that operate, and I've built myself pretty much an empire. So I have the manufacturing plant that manufactures the gelato for Sweet Ginger's Gelato.
that would be vertical integration.
Yes,
You're doing the whole operation.
Right. And I'm learning. I learn everything. I learn a new thing every day about even being a business owner.
Right.
You know.
So you were originally an Illinois corp, and then you came down here and you incorporated as a S corp
correct.
or LLC,
then,
I'm guessing.
And then Gelato Lab was formed, and
Uh-huh.
that's formed in here in Florida. So I
Yeah.
have the two corporations now, the 2 businesses. So I have the 2 entities here. So
And the idea is to get out into all the
Correct.
different distribution channels.
correct.
And to keep it in under your control. 'Cause
Right.
you
Yes.
seem to be somebody that really
Sort
has
of
a
like
passion.
well, yes, I have the passion, and I always say the 2 people that I actually look up to is Dick Portillo, which is out of Chicago, and Howard Schultz from Starbucks Coffee. So those are people that have actually, you know, built their empires, and they still have control over their businesses.
Right. And
So-
for people that don't know, Portillo's is a hot dog.
Italian beef.
Italian beef, and
Yes.
boy, those Italian beefs are good. I miss a lot of the food
So do
that
I.
you do get up there. You know, there's some great fish and it's stone crab season, so you can't get that out of Lake Michigan.
Right.
But you know, I do miss some of the ethnic foods and some of the different neighborhood
Right.
things that you got up
Right.
there. So I'm real happy that you're down here and you're importing this gelato to us here.
Thank you.
So the trips, you've taken 3 trips to Italy now.
And the 4th time I took my son there, but the 3 trips before that were mainly for me to learn about gelato, taste the gelato, actually make the gelato, and you know, the 4th time was actually to take my son there because he's never been to Europe before. But I actually did take him to meet the founder of Frigomat, which is Alberto Cipolleti, and then Francisco Trapepi is the CEO. And I really think it's important for me as a business owner, if I'm going to do business with some people, anyone, I try to go and meet the person. I went over there, spent time with them, toured the factory, actually had dinner at Alberto's house with his family. Francesco, is on my phone speed dial. I could call him anytime. Matter of fact, he's going to be down here this week.
Oh, good.
So he's going to be at a couple of my ribbon cutting ceremonies. And then, of course, Filippo Ferraro, who is the Aromatalia, the president right now, and he's actually runs the company over there. Went over there and met him in Torino. So I think it's really important to meet the people that I do business with, because you never know what your situation you're going to run into, where if you're going to need something, they're going to remember you. So
Right.
building relationships, even with your customers or your business relationships, are very important to me.
Well, I hear that theme time and time again. You really have to have the relationships, and you know, in this time of tweeting and you know, having
Yeah, everything is pretty much like communications by phone. But one of my things that I've learned as a business owner is anytime that I've ever met somebody that I knew I was going to, you know, was going to be beneficial to my business, I would always write them a handwritten thank you note.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And you don't get that anymore.
Nobody gives a hand.
Right.
I don't think they teach cursive in high school anymore.
I don't know. But I think that's really, and that's one of
Well,
the
it
things
says-
I've learned.
It's the little things, and I'm
Right.
sure that follows through in the ice cream making, or the gelato. Let me get away from that. That, you know, when you have you take the time to put in the little things like
Right.
that, the little nuances, the little flavors, writing a hand note to one of your distributors or your suppliers like that, that's going to make you stand out.
Right,
And
right.
people do love to have that type of extra attention, just like you actually went out in the back and introduced yourself to
Correct.
all of
Correct.
the people here at the studio.
Right. And when I was working on my truck in Chicago when I first started, I did it for more of an experience for people, because I believed it was very important to offer an experience for people and get to know my customers and they make that communication with them and really find out who they are and get to know them. So I think that's really important to offer them an experience versus just somebody coming up and getting a
That's
cup of gelato.
sage wisdom, and we're going to take a little bit of break. I think I might go back out to the truck and get a little bit more ice cream. Hey, Ginger, you guys come right back, and we'll talk more about Ginger and how she's taken this business and turned it into an empire. Welcome back, everybody. We have a wonderful day out there. It's Sunday afternoon, getting ready for some football. But before you have that football, I think you might want to pull out some of this gelato and have a real good Sunday brunch. And I'm talking to Sweet Ginger of Sweet Ginger's Gelato, and she's really got a Horatio Alger story about taking an idea, starting it out, test marketing it up into a different area, and then really expanding on the theme, bringing it down here. And there was no fairy godmother here. This was something that she just envisioned herself, saved her money, put together the expenses that needed to come out with, and really investigated doing your homework, Ginger. I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
So tell me, we got this is running at a good time. We have a big ribbon cutting ceremony. Why don't you tell
We actually
everybody?
have 3 of them coming up.
3 ribbon cutting. She doesn't do anything small. When you got big red hair like this, you don't do anything small. You gotta do it big.
Well, I have my Naples ribbon cutting ceremony coming up on Monday night, and then Bonita Springs and Fort Myers. And Sweet Ginger's has already been involved in the Bonita Springs and Naples Chamber of Commerce, and now I'm new as the Gelato Lab to the Fort Myers, and Sweet Ginger's is also new to Fort Myers. So I think it's really important to, if you're going to be a business owner, it's important to belong to the Chamber of Commerce's. You meet business owners that are like-minded like yourself.
Sure, and that's such an important thing. I mean, in this time where people are trying to find, gainful employment or trying to, get ahead of the curve on making money, this area has been such a big drive horse for real estate and everything real estate. I applaud people that go out and try to come up with new ideas and really do it on their own. I mean, because people come down here from up north and they want to retire, and they decide after a little while that, retirement really isn't for them and it's more expensive to live, and so now they want to open up a business.
Right,
So everybody wants to
right.
open up a business, and so I get questions all the time, and I'm going to pose it to you. What was the deciding factor for you to open up your own brand and your own marketing, as opposed to maybe getting into some sort of a chain or some sort of some of the TCBYs or
Well, I
Dairy
really
Queens.
believed in something that I could create, and something that that I knew that was a premium product. So in order for me to do that, I had to invest my money, and I invested my own money in really establishing my business. And I believe it's really important, if you believe in yourself and you believe that you're going to be successful, you can invest in yourself. So I created my own brand, which was Sweet Ginger's Gelato. And it's like I said, it's the first company down here, and maybe eventually I will go nationwide, but I'll still have control over my own company.
Well, and you can say you remember me when, because you'll be
Yes.
you'll be nationwide. If this is a test market for you, I think that
It'll
this thing-
eventually happen, maybe in a few years, but like I said, I'm learning something new every day about even being a business owner.
Sure. Well, it's a lot of work, and you got to put on a lot of hats. I mean, even coming to the studio and
Correct.
doing interviews like this. I mean, it all takes time, and there's not enough hours in the day for most small
right.
business owners like
Exactly.
yourself.
Exactly, and I know a lot about my product, so I'm not, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to educate my customers, and I think a lot of people do need to be educated on real Italian gelato.
Well, so where are the ribbon cuttings again?
They're at my Gelato Lab, which is in Fort Myers off of Daniels Parkway. It's past the 2 Panther signs. I think they're the only 2 Panther signs left in the the city of Fort Myers, but it's right off of Daniels Parkway, around back, and you'll see my 2 trucks out there, because they'll be there for the ribbon cutting ceremony, serving gelato, of course.
What time is that going to happen?
It's happening at 5:30.
5:30?
And 6, I believe it's 6 o'clock and 4 o'clock for the other one.
All right, and give them the date again. So
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 5:30. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this
No,
week.
yes, of this week, this coming week, yes.
Okay, good.
This next week, yes.
So right in time, right before Halloween, you guys
Correct.
can get a little bit of ice cream. What do we have any kind of autumn flavors
Oh,
going on?
there's
Specials?
probably going to be a pumpkin one. There's going to
Uh-huh.
be, we have the cinnamon one that we created today, but I actually have Gabrielle who created a signature flavor for sweet gingers, which was blood orange ginger. So
I wonder where that came
yeah,
from.
that was absolutely delicious.
Uh-huh.
So we'll probably create something for Halloween.
Well, that's good. And you talked about the Chamber of Commerce and you said that you feel that it's really good to rub shoulders with other entrepreneurs and small
Correct.
businessmen, because then you get the connections. And you also talked about this earlier. You really want to be able to make relationships, because that's what the business is.
Yes, because there's going to be other business owners and other people that are going to come in there, and really to find out who my target market is just by going out and talking to other business owners and who I want to do business with. So if I can go out and offer complimentary gelato at other people's ribbon cutting ceremonies, it's just my way of just getting myself out there.
And let me emphasize that, because I don't know if people realize, if you contact Ginger and you're part of the Chamber of Commerce,
Correct.
And you have a new business that is opening up in the Naples or Bonita or Fort Myers
Correct.
areas, she will come out with a truck and at her own expense give free ice cream to your patrons that are coming out there for the ribbon cutting. So
Right.
get in touch with Ginger, because they say there's no free lunch, but I guess I got something for you right now. We got some free ice cream coming to you right here.
Right.
So Ginger is really pushing hard to get the word out there that what'd you call it?
Industrial ice cream, or industrial Italian ice cream, is what most people are eating here in the United States.
It just sounds bad. Throw
course
that
it
out of the.
does.
Oh,
Well,
go to your freezers right now.
never-
Throw that stuff out of the freezer and get on over there to Sweet Gingers,
Right.
because after you taste it, it's going to be different. So the Chamber of Commerce, I think that you're a good emissary for that, and the Gelato Lab, you've opened up a state-of-the-art facility, manufacturing plant. And tell us a little bit about the equipment. What makes it so unique that you had to fly across the pond to go to get this machinery?
The equipment that I have here in the United States is really from a family-owned and operated facility over in Italy, and I actually walked the plant, and I walked the factory with Francesco, who's the CEO of Frigomat, and I watched as my machine was being put together piece by piece, handmade by Italian men in this factory, and I watched them put it together. So that to me was really important. But in my gelato lab out here, I have a viewing door where you could actually watch gelato being made. So there's a showroom, and then of course there's my industrial kitchen, and you can actually view the gelato coming out of the gelato machine, because that really is the beautiful part of the gelato.
Well, there was a revolution, about a decade ago, where all these small breweries popped up, and prior to that, all you really had was Budweiser and Homestyle,
Right.
and those types of beers.
It's artisanal, yes, it's artisanal.
And now people are making all sorts of craft
Artisan,
beers,
correct.
and people have gotten educated. I
Right.
mean, the different bars are bringing in all the fantastic IPAs, and I think that you might be on the forefront of.
Right.
Life's too short to eat lousy ice cream, folks.
Right.
I think that just like I kind of changed my beer habits. I wouldn't want to drink a light beer if you threw it at me, but I think that with ice cream, and I'm an ice cream kind of guy.
You have a sweet tooth, right?
I do have a little bit of a sweet tooth. Yeah.
Well, I think everybody really does a little bit somehow, some way or another.
My dad used to say kids love ice cream,
Yes.
and I guess I'm just a big kid, because I just kind of keep on going on. You mentioned something too that I think is very unique, and we're kind of touching on that. Everybody has their own different likes and things that tickle their fancy. What you'll do with some of your business partners is that you'll actually bring in the chef and the tasting chef and create a signature flavor for them.
Correct. Most of the area restaurants would love to have a signature flavor created for them. And I think that's really important for them to come into the Gelato Lab, taste some flavors, watch my chef blend them together and create a flavor for them so that they can actually have their own. And their recipes will actually be stowed away from within my vault that I have, and they will not be used by any other restaurants. So creating a signature flavor for somebody and no one else can be able to get that recipe is something that's really important.
Boy, talk about really making your own uniqueness there. I think that's a fantastic idea. I know a lot of restaurateurs and different people, they're always striving to have the one thing that identifies them.
Right,
and,
right.
I think the opportunity, but what are we going to do when you have all these people making all this ice cream orders to you? We're going to have to hire some more people or what?
I'll have to have some more machines working in there.
We're going to have
Producing overtime.
We're going to get a lot of these Italian guys out there making machines. That'll be good for the economy. Well, you're listening to Ask an Expert. I got Sweet Ginger's Gelato on here. Denise has been giving us some of her passion and some of her stories. But it really didn't happen overnight. I mean, you've had to work hard with the marketing. I know you have a team of guys that help you with that.
Correct.
Well, why don't you, for somebody who has some of your gumption, let's just say, and they're listening to the show right now, what would be an aha, or how would you tell them to get started?
Well, I would just say that, think of something that really is unique, that, you could actually create yourself or even put your own name on and kind of run with it. I always say I think outside the box because I'm a very creative person. My mind is always going. Sometimes I need to be told to settle down a little bit and focus, but I think that's good. I mean, that's what really keeps me enjoying what I'm doing. I really enjoy what I do, and even my employees that come to work every day, I don't even like to say work because it really is, I've created an environment where it's almost like a family to me. So when I'm out there working, I don't like to say working, but I enjoy what I do 100%. 100%.
Well, and that I've had a lot of different guests on the show, and that also is a theme. When you enjoy and your heart and soul, it's not work.
I have a passion
it's a lifestyle.
For it. Yeah,
it's a
I have
lifestyle.
a passion for it. I really do, and I think it's you can really see it in my product. You can see it in the way that I meet with business owners and I meet with my customers. It really is a passion that I have for it.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing is to try to find a passion, you would say, or what you really would be able to put your own stamp on.
And even like I always say, my marketing part of it, you can see my story from the very beginning when I didn't know the first thing about running a business. You could see how I really had a passion for it, and my story is on all my websites. So you could see my story from the very beginning and up until I am where I am right now. I've made videos in Italy. I've made videos here with Gabrielle. I have videos with my son, family, and I have videos of people's testimonies, which is really important.
Sure. Well, nothing better than to see. It's one thing where you see something in print or you get a little bit of a testimonial of an anonymous person out there, but to actually see somebody speaking on a picture in front of you.
Right.
And in this day of age of YouTube and Facebook and all the different
Correct.
things that you can employ, you've done a very good job of getting your word out and your story out. I think it's a compelling story for people to try to emulate.
Thank you.
I think the marketing end. Did you have kind of a budget in mind? Did you do some sort of a pro forma before you got into this?
Well,
because a lot of time people get into money problems. Great ideas, but it's hard to put idea people together with the fiscally responsible people. Maybe you need to go to Washington because they sure don't have any fiscal responsibility up there. But if you had an idea on that.
I had to find even the people the general contractors that built out my Gelato Lab. I went out and investigated, several general contractors and found the ones that I actually really, thought I would work well with. Of course, everybody has to have a budget, and in my own mind, I had my budget. And right now, I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. So.
And you stuck to your numbers. There was no real.
Yes. There's little things that are coming up here and there, but nothing to break the bank. So. Yes.
Well, that's good. And you squirreled away money for the rainy day for us.
Yes, I did.
Doing your different jobs.
Right, because I believed in what I was doing, and I knew that I could have done it. I probably could have done it a different way, but the way that I chose to do it was, really investing in myself and really following through. And I didn't jump the gun and just to do this in one year.
As an impulse,
right. And I really, it's kind of like it fell into my lap as I was going along. So it fell into my lap in a good way, though.
Well, and you spoke a little bit about the future, and that you would like to try to take this to other areas. Now that you have the two different corporations, and you said that some of your mentors would be the guys that kept control of their businesses. How do you envision as this starts to take off, and let's just say this state, for example, because you mentioned to me that the ice cream isn't frozen as a traditional, Publix type of ice cream truck or something like that. So you can only deliver this within
a certain mile radius of where my gelato lab is. So even starting it in a different city, maybe up north in Florida, or even further south, or on the east coast of Florida, I could possibly do that. Or if I have to, I would stay. I don't want to be everything to everybody, so I kind of want to keep myself maybe one here and maybe one further out west, and, spreading west and the warmer states where people eat gelato on a daily basis.
People need gelato.
Twice a day sometimes.
People need gelato to keep the sweat from coming down. Well, Henry Ford said, and this is a big Henry Ford area, that the way that you create success is put together a process and then be able to reproduce that process.
Correct.
So you put together a process now, you have the lab, and if we could reproduce you, then we could take this nationwide, but I don't know how that's going to happen.
I don't know either, but I think Tara, my ginger manager, is pretty close to it. It took me a long time to find Tara to work for me. It took me a long time to find a qualified redhead that could kind of emulate what I do and really have the same passion that I do. It's taken me a long time because Sweet Ginger's Gelato was my baby. So here I am now in Tara's.
And you don't want artificial intelligence. You're not going to have that Miss Clairol.
Nothing's artificial here.
No Miss Clairol redheads here. We want the real deal. And we're not putting any kind of fake ingredients in this.
Nothing.
You listen to Ask an Expert. We're having a lot of fun here. I'm really happy to have Ginger in studio, and it's her passion really comes across. I hope you people at home can feel the ice cream oozing through the speaker as we go, because it's I didn't think that I was going to come into the show and be such a spokesperson for it, but after tasting, and that was a good ploy by you too, to bring me a little ice cream before the show.
That's the way I market myself. Bring you the product, and then you can decide after what you want to do afterwards. And most of the time, it's you want to follow Sweet Ginger's Gelato.
It's hook, line, and sinker right here, folks. I was into the thing. So the ideas of keeping your control and maybe opening another spot could be in the future.
Correct.
How about franchising or something like that?
I'm not interested in franchising. Right now I'm really, like I said, I want to be able to have control over how my products are made, and I think that's really important because, you could get somebody that wants to open up a retail location and you kind of lose control over it that way, and I don't see that happening because really I know what I did to get to where I am right now. So I think I would rather have control over it and really be able to see how my
so the idea of having the rolling production, having your trucks, as opposed to having a storefront.
Correct. That is my storefront, right.
Is a conscious decision.
Right, yes.
You don't want to be captive to one
location. Correct. And that's really how Sweet Ginger's Gelato, how people can find them, because really, I don't have to stay in one location. I could be everywhere. So, like I said, if you follow me on Facebook and Twitter, you'll find out exactly where I'm at, every location that I'm at, and you can get pints off the truck, or you can get a 4-ounce cup or a 6-ounce cup off the truck. You can get, eat it right there, or you can take it home.
Sell a pint.
Yes, I will.
You have
I will.
containers
Yes, I
to
have
do that.
containers
So bring your cooler and pull up to the truck
Correct.
and
correct.
just like they do with other products that are in
Right,
high
and they'll
demand like
scoop
that.
it right there for you, and they'll put it right into the container. You can take it home, and I'm sure it won't last very long because you'll probably end up eating it on the way home. But
Well, don't get in an accident, folks. You don't want to be texting and driving, and don't be eating your ice cream and driving too.
Don't be eating your sweet gingers.
Sweet gingers and gelato and then driving. I'd like to touch a little bit more about the signature flavors. I mean, you want to deal with a business owner, let's say, or maybe even a country club.
Right, country club. Like I said, the Sweet Ginger's Gelato does the private events. They will do the weddings. They'll bring the display case in and set it up at like an Italian cafe. We do the like they said, the private events, corporate parties. But the Gelato Lab, when the chefs come in and want to create a signature flavor, they can come in and view the Gelato Lab, which I think is really important. You can view the way that gelato is made right there in the kitchen. And you can come out and taste it, sample it, create whatever flavor you want to create. So, custom.
That's, the 31 flavors has nothing on you. You got unlimited flavors,
yes,
huh?
Exactly.
That's good. Well, tell me what's next on the horizon? You're going to be opening up these new facilities. Ribbon cutting.
Yeah, the Gelato Lab will be open, and then the 2 mobile units will be operating, like I said, all over Bonita Springs, Naples, and Fort Myers. And my gingers will be on board, and you can book them for your events, your private events, or like I said, the business owners can contact me. I'll come over and sample my gelato to them, and then maybe we can do business together, and I can co-promote with them. So
That's a great idea. That's a way to get some synergies going out there with the other business owners, and it's good for you and good for them.
Right, exactly.
And any trips going back to Italy? What's the?
I might be going back in January. I have a show that I might be doing with Frigomat as the ambassador of gelato here in the United States.
Do you have exclusive rights to that?
Alberto Cipolleti, who is the founder of Frigomat, actually appointed me the ambassador of gelato here in the United States. So I do have a medal for it. So I'm not afraid to wear it either.
You're gonna have to show me that medal later on. I don't know, folks. So you're actually the ambassador of gelato here in the United States.
Yes, he appointed me that. So I run with that one. So
I would. That's definitely an honor.
Right. So other than that, though, I'll probably be going back there. He would like me to come back there in January and show how his machines work there in Italy at a trade show over there. And possibly a couple shows here in the United States. But I would like to, like I said, I enjoy going back to Italy, but I'm sure I'm going to be awfully busy in the next couple months.
How much can you produce? I mean, if you had the factory lab working, full tilt right now, how much ice cream?
Well, I could produce it 24 hours a day if I needed it. Needed to. But
realistically,
probably between 8 and 10 minutes, I can produce, like a pan of gelato. A flavor can come out.
Oh, a pan, right? Okay, and.
So it's and depending on, my machines can pretty much do anything. They can store the recipes. They can like today, my chef was in there this morning, whipping out the gelato, creating all those flavors that we had today.
And the machines, I'm going to have to take a look at these machines because they really sound like.
Well, I kind of call them the Ferraris of Frigomat, or Ferraris of
gelato machines.
Yeah, because really they're beautiful pieces of machines.
Well,
so the machinery.
I implore all you people out there to come on out to the ribbon cutting. The ribbon cutting's this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5:30. You can get some free gelato. Taste it. Once you taste it, you're hooked. That's a great program. I think that they've been doing that on the streets of New York forever. So get the people what they want. Thank you so much for coming to the studio.
Thank you so much, Tom, for having me.
And make sure you love all your friends and neighbors out there. And if you love somebody, give them a little gelato. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on Ask an Expert.